Welcome to the Alternative Dog Moms Podcast. I'm Kimberly Gauthier, creator of Keep the Tail Wagging. I've been blogging about raw feeding, pet wellness, and life as a crazy dog mom for more than 10 years. I've seen massive improvements in my dog's health since I began raising my dogs naturally, and I'm passionate about sharing my experience to help other pet parents.
I'm Erin Scott from the Believe in Dog podcast. For more than 10 years, I've been researching and learning everything I can about healing cancer, allergies, autoimmune, and mystery illnesses in both my dogs and myself. And I can't wait to share with you everything I've learned in case it could help you too. As the Alternative Dog Moms, Kimberly and I are bringing you all the latest dog health news that we're following and the brilliant people we're meeting along the way. Now let's get started. Hello, Kimberly.
Hello. I was going to say April. Hello, April Fool's Day. Hello, Erin.
Well, happy National Raw Feeding Week to you.
Cute. Today's the first day. I'm so excited because I was going to post recipes all week. And it's so funny because someone said, "Hey, I thought you were going to post recipes. I wanted the recipes." I was like, I know. I'm too chicken to do that. Because I do have some, I did start making recipes, but it's so hard. And I now understand why those recipes in the Forever Dog book or the Forever Dog Life had so many eggs. Because so many of my recipes, I'm sitting here trying to do it. And by the time I figure, because with the software, it'll tell you what you're off by. And you can just like double click on that and it'll bring you to a screen where you can say, okay, well, here's some things that you can add to fix that. And the only thing in and two of the recipes that could fix it were eggs. But by the time it's done, this is like, a 2-3 pound, probably about actually closer to 3 to 5 pound recipe. I have 9 eggs or 7 eggs. And I'm like, this is why it was like this. And when I saw that, I would not, eggs are still very expensive. And I just couldn't do that. So I decided I changed my mind like at the very last minute. And now I have a whole plan for the week of content that I'm sharing. And I'm just going to do it that way, nice and easy. And I didn't do an April Fool's Day joke because I just couldn't think of anything good. But I did see some pretty good ones. One was it was a screen and they were saying, be careful because today's April Fool's Day, so people are going to try to trick you. So be sure to look at the calendar before you believe anything. But on the screen, it was like one of 10 images and it had a little dots so you can scroll. How many times did I scroll to the left? And I'm just sitting like, oh gosh. And there is I think it was Big Country Raw announced their raw coated kibble as a Fool's Day joke. I'm trying to think. Oh, I think it was Northwest Naturals announced some new meal toppers, and I can't remember what they were, but I think one was a mystery sock, and one was something to do with trash. But yeah, I thought that people did some really cute things for April Fools.
Yeah, I never think of stuff like that. I definitely saw a couple of the ones with the dots where you go to click more and then you're like, oh.
Oh, I know. I thought those were the best ones because it's like they really got me.
Yeah, I saw a couple of things that were like, it's April Fool's, so don't believe anything you read on the internet, just like every other day. And I was like, well, that's kind of my approach to life right now. So
exactly. Oh my gosh. So yeah. And I'm doing a monthly Reels challenge. So today was the first day of that as well, where 6 days out of the week I wrote about something and I had the letter of the alphabet like every day. I think it wasn't like Sundays were off, but I think maybe I don't remember how it goes, but I think maybe it is Sundays. We had Sundays off, but it was all the other days. And it happened to just work out to, you finished up at the end of the month. And I used to do that every year on my blog. And so I was like, oh, this will be fun to do a challenge. I love doing challenge. I miss that type of stuff. It'll be interesting to see if I can stick to it because those are the things that you get excited at the beginning. But basically for me, by day 4, I'm just like, this is stupid. I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, I've been trying to start thinking of different notes and things that we'll need to leave the pet sitter. And I was actually going to take some videos. And then I'm like, oh, maybe I can just share those. This is what gate, crate, and rotate looks like in my house, you know?
That's a good idea. I mean, it is so interesting. I mean, I was wondering how the dogs would do because I'm
Yeah.
fostering a puppy. I took a couple weeks off of my Facebook page, put it in timeout, and I'm back now. And during that time, I was trying to just think of, I was losing, what's the word? Inspiration. I just didn't really feel like doing this anymore. And I was just, part of me was like, I put so many years, like over a decade into all of this. I didn't want to walk away from it, but I also needed to do something needed to change. And I was like, well, I love dogs. I'm so passionate about dogs and I'm passionate about rescue. It's like I work full time, but from home. I live on 5 acres of a property that Johann designed to be a dog park. And I mean, even the dogs, like there's the big property, but then the dogs, their own yard is huge and it's great for them. And, why not, foster? So this little girl, her name is Little Miss Muffet. She's from the Mother Goose litter. She came up and I saw it because my friend, who is one of the executive directors of the rescue, showed me the video. Someone had taken the mother and her puppies and dumped them in an orchard. And a woman found them. And I shared this on Instagram, but it's not on Facebook, the video, where you can hear the tears in the woman's voice as she's going up to the puppies and going, "It's okay, you'll be okay, you're safe now." And it was just so heartbreaking. The mom was adopted immediately. Like before she even arrived into town, she already
Wow.
had someone who wanted her. And now she's at home with this man, older gentleman adopted her, and he's sending in like pictures and stuff. We have actually a rescue group so that we can all stay in touch, and all the people who have litter mates, they can get together because that's how I keep in touch with Bella's litter mates. So he's been sharing videos and pictures, and she's just like doing good. And I think maybe half of the puppies have been adopted, and so she's still waiting. So I figured, I'm going to try this again. So the last time I fostered, I immediately failed. And so
And
I will,
Bella won. You didn't fail.
yeah,
Bella won.
um, I will not be failing this time, or I shouldn't say that. It is not likely that I'll be failing this time simply because although I do have time to foster, I don't have time for a puppy. And she is a good puppy, and that's the only reason why I took her, was because she's mellow and she's happy, she's playful. Bella loves her.
Aw.
I mean, I have so many videos of them playing together. I have one that I'm gonna share tonight where they're laying on the ground just rolling next to each other. I don't know what they're doing, but then they just run and chase each other. They love it. Bella loves her.
So it makes my rescue heart happy to hear that the mama got adopted first, because a lot of
Yeah,
times you hear the opposite, that the puppies will
everyone wants
go,
the puppies.
yeah.
Yeah, we actually do really well, and I think it's because, you know, people who are older or retired, they're like, "I don't wanna do a puppy, and I don't wanna do a super active dog," and so they really appreciate an older, maybe not an old, because she's not an old dog, she's just an adult dog or more like adolescent, and so they appreciate that. And it's just like, yeah, we have that really good success with placing everybody. Usually it's the puppies that stay with us longer
Wow.
rather than the moms. The moms usually go, I mean, because even like when I saw the video, I was just like, "Oh, I want the mom." And she was just like, "Yeah, someone is," I was like, "I think she's already spoken for." And
Aw.
she hadn't even come into they hadn't arrived in the state yet because they came from California. So it's just like, yeah, we have a really great community. We have a lot of repeat adopters. And we have a really great community of people who, my mom wants a dog, and, my friend was,
That's
so
wonderful.
yeah, so the directors of Save a Mutt are absolutely phenomenal, and they have built an entire organization that is, everyone has their role, and it's just so amazing. And I just, I do things, but mostly I just show up to events and have fun. And I go to board meetings. So I was just like, I need to do more. And given what I have, it's like, I think I can foster here and there. And Johan and I talked about it. And I was just like, he was just like, I just don't want us to turn into a house with 10 dogs because you keep keeping all the dogs. And it's like, that will not happen. But I thought that she would be a good fit for here. And she is. Apollo feels sad, it seems, because he needs a little more comforting. Like he was upstairs with Johan. Johan's working upstairs on our improvements. And he was upstairs cuddling with Johan because he was just like, no one loves me anymore now that there's a puppy. And Zoe was, barking yesterday. She just kept barking at the puppy, chasing the puppy around and stuff. And now today I have a picture of them sleeping together. So
Aw.
yeah, so she blended really well with my pack. So my whole thing is I hope she ends up with a family with either someone who is home, like works from home too, or is retired, or someone who has dogs because she's so playful and she loves to play with dogs. But she is a really good puppy.
Tim's telling me that's where we went wrong with Nessie because, our mama dogs were Kahlua and Penny, and they were both just the sweetest dogs ever. And Lucy was an amazing dog, but she was like, you wouldn't say sweet as the first thing to describe her, whereas like with Kahlua and Penny, you would. And so Tim's like, we should have had a mama dog.
Yes. I know
And
people
I'm
love
like,
the mama
we have
dog.
Nessie, and she's amazing and smart, and she's challenging us to learn all these new things, and that is our journey right now.
Be grateful for it.
I know.
Yeah, but yeah, even Johan, he comes in and he sits with her and she crawls into his lap and, she's just, I mean, what's crazy is that she walked into the house, she walked around our first floor and like checked everything out and then just like went and found the toy and was jumping on the sofa and running around
Aw.
and it was just like, and we were just like, okay, well, come on in. Little
Make yourself at
dog.
home.
But
Pull up
she's,
a
yeah.
toy.
So that helped me, that gave me some, the inspiration to, I don't know, jumpstart, keep the tail wagging, to keep on the blogging and stuff. Not that I'm going to be blogging about her or anything. I'll just share pictures and videos. I am feeding her kibble.
Oh, I was gonna ask if
Yep,
that
I
was my
am
next
feeding her
question.
kibble. I did go to the pet store and get her just like a better quality kibble. And so I got 2 bags, so 1 bag that she's eating and the other bag that can go home with her. She likes it. I also mix it with freeze-dried. So today she had freeze-dried from Primal. It was like a pork seafood blend, and then I soak it in bone broth, and yeah, and she loves it. Today I did that and then added a scrambled egg to it, and she absolutely loved it. So, so I just figure, and in the morning meals, she gets a little bit of Gussie Scott and a little bit of real mushrooms. I use it when I'm not. I just did a scrambled egg today, but the other days I did the Northwest Naturals whole egg meal topper. So I just figure, like just if we're gonna feed her kibble, then we're gonna holistic it up a little bit. We're gonna do our best. So, but she is a really good girl.
And how old is she?
She is 13 weeks,
Oh,
so
okay.
3 months.
And what kind of dog breed
Or is
mix?
that 4 months?
That's like 3.
3 months. Yeah, 4 months would be 16 weeks. Yeah. I'm an accountant.
And what
I
kind of
don't
breed?
know what she is. She looks like a little like a wired hair terrier.
I guess she looked like scruffy,
Mhm.
it was like
And
very cute.
I love her coat. She is she has the beautiful eyes. She really is an amazing little puppy. But her litter mates, they all were a little bit different. And it'll be interesting to see what they all look like when they grow up. Yep, see, Johann just walked into the room right now and he's sitting with her and she's crawling into his lap. I
Aw.
mean, she's such a sweet little dog. And it's just like, I feel like Bella has decided that that's her dog. And so Bella plays with her. And it's funny because Bella will is just watches her, is waiting for, are we playing now? Are we playing now? Well, she's walking around and then eventually they'll just start running. And I was explaining to Johann that Bella has a style of play that not many dogs can match. Her litter mates did. So when we would have play dates with her litter mates, she was in heaven because she likes to chase, but then she likes to be chased, but then she likes to chase. And if someone is only chasing her, she gets really upset. And if she has to chase someone all the time, she gets bored. And so the two of them go back and forth
Oh,
where
good.
and it's just it's hilarious. It's hard to keep up with them with the camera because they're constantly moving and jumping on each other. And Bella is so gentle with her and everything. And Apollo he tried to like play a little bit with her today, but he's so big and she's so little. And he just wasn't sure what to do, but he had the pull her ring and was trying to sort of like play with her. And
Aw.
eventually I got a picture of her and Bella holding the puller ring and it's too
Aw.
big for her little mouth, but she's tried. And yesterday Zoe was playing with her
Aw.
and chasing her around and stuff like that. But yeah,
I
yeah,
wish I had a good playmate for Nessie, but it would like have to be another pit bull because she just
yeah.
wants to run and body slam. And she tried to do that to Nino like one time and he like ran away and like hid behind him and
Like, are you out of your mind? It's like, what did I do to you?
and I don't think it's like an aggressive,
Yeah.
like play. It's just like she's hardcore,
Well,
man.
it's like having little boys and little girls. And it's just sort of like, I was watching an episode of Grey's Anatomy because everything comes back to Grey's Anatomy. And Derek Shepherd, he and Merritt adopted a baby from Africa and Zola. And Dr. Bailey's son, Dr. Bailey's black, Zola's black. And Dr. Shepherd was like, maybe we could set them up for a play date because, they're both black and so like that. And she was just like, well, my son's style of playing is taking cars and hitting things with it and doing all these things. It's like, I don't think, and he's like, I don't know how old he was, like 3 or 4, whereas she's a baby. It's like, I don't think that they would be good playmate buddies. But I think that that's kind of like your dogs where one style of play is hitting and running over,
Exactly.
and the other one's like, "Let's make a puzzle."
Exactly. Nina's like, let's play you run out in traffic.
If they were human siblings, they would be hilarious.
Yeah, Nina would be like, so why don't you go on the roof and try to jump off?
Yes, there's this I don't know that his name, but I follow him and he comes to my thing and he reads comments and he's laughing while he's reading them and it's funny because he's laughing and the comments are funny and he'll do ones where it's siblings, like people tell stories about what they did to their siblings. And one person was said her little sister asked her, and they're little, and her little sister asked her, what would happen if Santa saw me, if I like snook, and hid to see him come and bring the presents? And she said, where do you think the elves come from? And she was like, and she just started crying. And I was just like, it's like all these stories of the mean things. Like one was this woman said, like the 2 older siblings put the youngest in the dryer. And she said the scared look on her face as she was going around in circles, and it's just all these happy, these laughing emojis. And it's just like, are you kidding?
Oh my gosh, I don't have anything like that with my brother.
My brother and I got along. We played. The only time we didn't get along was he used to make his friends watch him play, and they could give suggestions on what he should do, but they weren't allowed to play with his toy. And I would be like, "No, you don't get to have people over and then no, they get to play with your toys." And he would be upset with me because I would make him make his friends play, but that was our conflict.
Are you the older sibling?
Mhm, by 8 years, so
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like 6 years older than my brother. So, yeah, I was just like, I don't know, like I was just like another annoying mother type figure,
Yeah,
like I
exactly.
wasn't. I remember when I was in middle school, I had mono one summer. And so this was in the height of like when WWE, of course it was WWF, wrestling was like a big deal. And my brother had this big stuffed animal thing called My Pet Monster. And he would like jump off the furniture and like wrestle with it. And like he was like not allowed in the same room as me for like this whole summer because when you have mono, your spleen enlarges, and if you get hit it could rupture, and
Mhm.
like that's really bad. So yeah, because he was in this like wrestling and like jumping off the furniture stage, he was like never allowed anywhere near me. But it wasn't because he like did anything bad, it was just like a precautionary thing.
You're dangerous.
Yeah.
You're dangerous. You can't do this. So, yeah, it's been pretty good. I wanna say that I took pictures of stuff. I'm reaching for my phone, I'm sitting on
Oh.
it. I sit on it because just in case it buzzes, instead of, like, putting it on mute, I sit
Oh,
on it so the buzz won't come through the speaker. And
that's one way to do it.
and the reason why I won't put it on mute is because I'll forget to take it off mute, and I forget. I probably lose my phone at least once a day, and it's like a ongoing joke because I'm just constantly walking around looking for my phone.
Well, you can actually train your dogs to sniff out your phone,
Oh,
because that was what we were doing in that class with Nessie.
wow! Did it
Yeah.
work?
I haven't done it with a phone yet, but some of the other people there were
That
doing
is
it with a
so
phone.
cool. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. So, what's new in your world? How are your dogs?
Pretty good. Can I just say that Nessie has been chewing this antler for almost an hour straight because we were chatting for a little while before we turned the mics on. So yeah, she's been going at this antler for an hour straight.
That is so good.
And we had, oh my God, we had amazing weather here over the weekend. It was like almost 80 degrees. And we had like awesome dog walks all weekend and got to have a nice long car ride with the window down. Well, with her, I can only crack the window so that she can get her snout through it. Otherwise, I'm afraid she'll jump out of the window. But at any rate, with the window cracked down. So yeah, we had a good weekend. We were doing all the fun stuff, getting some outside time.
Is it still warm now?
Oh no, today it was like 45 and blustery.
I swear, the weather of this whole country is insane.
Yeah, I mean, I will say at least we've had a good spring so far. Like, it really feels like we got a spring this year. Last year, it literally just went like winter, summer.
We had some like 70-degree days. That's why notice the hair is curly again. I cannot keep a straight style to save my life right now because it is humid. And we have humidity here, but it's not East Coast humidity. It's not like you walk outside and it feels like you just walked into water,
Yeah.
hot, warm water. But it's still humid, and we've had, like, 75 to 95% humidity in my hair. I will straighten it, and it holds a straight style for, a few hours, but, by the time I get home one time I came home and I happened to walk by a mirror and was horrified because I had been out all day, and so I decided to just embrace my curls again during this time, but I finished mowing the lawn, and my dogs, it's spring and there is a grass. I wonder if you have the same thing. My dogs love spring grass. So they don't eat grass like crazy and they're not like obsessed with eating grass, but spring grass, they start sniffing around and then they'll just all and what's funny is one of them will find like, "Oh, here's a spot," and the others will run over, and then they'll eat in that area, and they loves this I don't know what type of grass it is, but they love the spring grass. So
I can tell you from the quality of the poops that I'm picking up that Nessie is in full grass eating mode right. Yeah, I tell Tim we go on walks and either she's dragging me down the street because there's a squirrel or something, or else I'm dragging her down the street because I'm like, please stop eating grass. We have to walk right now.
So, yeah. And then Johan and I went and bought flowers. We bought more roses because I decided I'm not going to grow a vegetable garden this year. I've done it every year for years. And although I do love having a vegetable garden, I just don't want to do it this year. I mean, because I feel like I end up throwing out a lot of it because everyone is growing vegetables here. So it's not like you can just grow vegetables and like take them to work. I don't go into the office. I go in on Thursdays, but it's only my department that's there and maybe a few other people. So it's not like the way it used to be where it was an entire company was in there. And so someone was going to take it home. Most likely it's just going to end up going into the trash. And so I decided, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to grow vegetables. I'm just going to support my local farmers at the farmers market and buy their vegetables. And
That's
then
what
I'm
we
going
do.
to do more. That way, I'm not wasting them. Oh, but I am losing weight
Good for you.
because I started doing, well, it's kind of like a low carb diet, but I call it the carnivore diet, but it's technically not because I still do eat probably definitely more carbs than people do on a carnivore diet. But I've just been inspired by it. And I hardly eat anymore
Hmm.
because of it. I mean, I'm always just satisfied. I don't even know what I ate today. Well, I had a shake, like this one of those antioxidant boosting type shakes, and I had 2 pieces of chicken, like small chicken tenders. I shared them with my dogs, and and that's what and I'm fine. But it's Johan asked me, it's like, so he's like, "Are you watching something that gave you the inspiration to like eat differently?" And I was like, No, it's just my dogs. Everything that I'm feeding my dogs, it's just sort of like everything I'm feeding them, technically, were it not for the ground bone mixed in, I could eat it too. So, and they're doing great. So maybe, I'll give it a try and I'll start eating that way too. And it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I need to get on a losing weight kick because I blame the month of January. It felt like January was longer than February and March combined,
Oh
and
gosh, I have no idea.
and there was a lot of comfort eating going on.
It
I will
feels like
admit,
it's
a lot of
still
stress eating, a lot of comfort eating, and yeah, gotta tighten it up.
I blame 2023 and 2024 because I am an emotional eater, and that was an emotional time apparently, and I was eating everything. Also, and because I just don't like to take accountability for things, I'd prefer to just blame a year. But I was also eating like just all these yummy things. And so like, what is it? Cinnabons? Oh, those are so
Oh,
good. And even though it would take me a few days to eat a Cinnabon, because I mean, there's no way
they're
you can.
huge, yeah.
Yeah, they're huge and they're very rich and sweet, but still, it's not good for you. And when I learned about seed oils and things like that, I started looking for things that didn't have seed oils. And it's very hard. So a lot of the things that I love to snack on, I couldn't snack on anymore. So I love chips. And I have found chips that are made in avocado oil, but I bought a bag and immediately threw it out because I wanted to ask, do you guys sample these before you put them in the bag? Because they were so salty.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if everything else that I'm doing has really changed my taste buds because I'm very sensitive to all these flavors. And it's like there's so many things I can't eat anymore because it's just too sweet or
Yes.
too salty. And that kind of is a bummer. So the only thing I eat, like my sweets are fruit or gummy bears, which I will not give up. I can't remember who it was. One of the many veterinarians that we know, we interviewed him for our podcast, but I can't remember his name, so I'm not going to say it. But he was going to tell me he's like, I could tell you something about gummy bears. They'll make you not eat them. And I was like, just give me this one thing. It's like, I've given up everything else. Just give me this one thing. And he was like, okay. And so I have that and then chocolate. I love chocolate with almonds. And I'm sure that there's something horrible about that. It's probably, I don't know, something just rat turds or something that Hershey's puts in there or something that, someone's going to uncover one day. And I'm like, damn
Oh my
it.
god.
But,
Well, I highly recommend the Otto's cassava flour gluten-free brownie mix because you will not be able to tell that they are gluten-free.
Oh,
They are amazing. And
that's another
yes,
thing.
way too
Brownie,
many of those have been consumed in
I
2025.
you cannot buy anything, like from the store, like pre-made, because the brownies, they're like so sweet, and I swear they're not cooked all the way because they're so gooey.
It's
And
all the trans fats.
I do like them to be to soft, but they're gooey, and it's like this isn't enjoyable. And yeah, and I made the mistake of starting to read ingredients labels, for my stuff. I do it for my dogs regularly, but for me, I don't. And I'm making so much of my own food now that it's kind of a bummer because I miss those Cinnabons because they were so good. So good.
Oh,
But I'm afraid to have one now because of the sweetness. Is like I know that maybe I'll get one of those little like the mini bonds. I think that would be okay to have occasionally.
I couldn't even tell you the last time I had a Cinnabon, but I'm thinking about it right now.
Oh, they're so good. And the place that I have is just right up the freeway. I mean, it's not. It's a straight shot up the freeway. You take a right off, and I know exactly where they are. They're open super late because it's at a truck stop type gas station place. So they're open. If you wake up at 2 in the morning and want a Cinnabon, we go get one. I mean, it's just a dangerous thing, but yeah, I don't.
Like, I
No,
bet it's been like 20 years since I've had a Cinnabon.
really? Gosh, yeah, it's been a year. Maybe not even that. Maybe, yeah, probably it's been a year because I think I started this last summer where I really, no, it's probably been last summer was probably the last time I had a Cinnabon sometime last summer. But it's just kind of a pain in the neck trying to find things to snack on. And I mean, but then the thing about it is that I'm not hungry. I used to just eat, I was
Yeah, it's
always,
kinda like a boredom thing sometimes, yeah.
yeah. And now I don't. And it's just, okay. So, and I haven't even had my gummy bears. Like I usually have a little handful of gummy bears every day. I haven't even had those or my chocolate in a few days. It's just, I mean, I'm happy because I'm losing weight and I'm feeling healthier and I don't have as much like inflammation in my system and stuff. But it's just like, oh, I miss them. And another thing is Johan told me this. What is it called? I have to find it. So creatine is really good for women. And I won't go into the reasons why, but it's good for our mental health. It's good for, reducing inflammation. If someone like he didn't intentionally go on a deep dive, but he loves that type of information and he goes to the gym and all of that. And he found a video that a woman was doing and she was talking about how she had sciatica, an inflamed sciatica and how creatine had helped. And then from there, he really did. And then he came to me and said, hey, maybe you should try creatine and that'll help with your joints and stuff. And oh my gosh, it does.
Wow.
I take it daily. I basically just add it to I have the shake and I add it to my shake every morning. And I mean, I still sometimes have a little bit of pain but it has gone down so, so much. But, it's like all these little things that we do for our dogs that we technically really should be doing for
Yeah.
ourselves, and we don't. So we feed our dogs these wonderful meals. We're spending all this money. Some of us have additional freezers and all of these things to store all this great food, and then we're eating, canola oil and processed brownies and
I mean, like, we try really hard not to, but you can even still eat a lot of junk even if it's healthier.
yeah. I mean, well, what sucks are the number of things that mask as healthy.
That's true too. I'm under no illusion though. I
That was like, because when I first started, I was complaining about that. And so many people said, yeah, you have to shop the ends of aisles
Yeah,
because
like
it's like,
the perimeter, yeah.
yeah, even the healthy section of the grocery store isn't healthy.
Yeah.
It's like when you start looking at the ingredients, because it's like, why does there need to be canola oil in raw nuts? They're not raw if there's canola oil. And there's nuts that are in, that like they're in a special little container and it makes it look like it's supernatural, but they're not.
Right.
And gosh, so no wonder our dogs and we are, sick because, our food industry is just broken. Every Sunday, me and my friends get together at a local brewery, and they always have a food truck. And they had this one food truck. It was like barbecue and stuff like that. And I just went to the window because I can never order off the menu. It's just dangerous. Because another thing that I love, tater tots. I think tater tots are the best thing ever. Taco Time's Mexi fries, which are just tater tots, are delicious. And I have had those recently because every now and then I will treat myself to one taco and a little thing of their little tater tots. And I love them. And I can barely eat it all because it's just a lot, but it's so delicious. But so I go to them and I just basically say, I can only eat meat. This is what I'm doing. Can you just give me meat? And they are so wonderful about it because they're like, well, what do you want just lean meat? Do you want meat and fat? And it's like, I need meat and fat together. And yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Okay. I haven't really seen anything, very fascinating on social media, but I've kind of not been on social media that much. I did see something today though. So there's a group that Facebook keeps recommending to me. And I'm considering joining the group. It's called Homemade Dog Food Recipes. And the person just shares dog food recipes. And they're what you expect for people who share dog food recipes, like a chicken and rice recipe and, all these different things. And she doesn't pretend like these are balanced recipes. It's just sort of this is something that would have definitely appealed to me, what, 13, 14 years ago when I was trying to do better than just kibble and adding cooked food. And I did a lot of the stuff that she's talking about. So it's not meant to be like, you can follow all my recipes and this is now your dog's new diet. But I always find it interesting when there's a recipe that comes through my feed and it has rice in it, or it has corn, or, you has like the mixed frozen vegetables and corn is one of them or something like that. I, being the, nosy person that I am, immediately go to the comments to see who's the first person to bring up, that rice is actually not really great for dogs. And I saw that today where I follow this back and forth between two people arguing about the rice. And it's funny because the person was just sharing, and she actually left a very thoughtful, kind comment just about, rice and the fact that it's very hard to digest. And so it's not the best for dogs with upset tummies. And you'd be, and offer suggestions but she also talked about how this actually isn't a complete meal, and dogs need more than the just chicken and rice. And it would be nice if it had these type of ingredients in it. And of course, someone was just like, good gravy is just for fun. And, and then they were just going back and forth and a lot of passive aggressive comments. And, and it was entertaining to me, but it brought to mind I did a video where I can't remember the actor's real name, but the character is it the show The Blacklist? Yeah, The Blacklist. And it's the actor that was the voice of Ultron in Age of Ultron.
Is it James Spader?
James Spader, yes. It's James Spader. And he says, I can't remember what he said, but it made me think of rice. And I just said, this is how I feel when someone wants to feed rice. And I got two comments. One was, rice helps prevent DCM. And the other comment was, well, good luck when your dog gets DCM because you didn't add rice. And I went ahead and just deleted both comments and blocked them because I got some really great advice from someone who said, stop trying to reason with people who don't want to learn anything new because it's pointless to have conversations with people. It's like if they don't, because at first I actually responded to the first person, but then they came back with this crazy, weird, aggressive comment. It's like, okay, block by. But he said, just stop trying to reason with them because it's pointless to try and reason with people who really aren't interested in learning something new. But that being said, I thought it was very interesting that there are people that, because one person says, well, I'd rather take the chance, not take the chance. And so I would rather feed my dogs rice to make sure they don't get DCM. And I was just sort of like, no, that's not it.
Oh my God, I want to explode.
And I thought I responded really well. And I was like, well, actually, the studies, that came out as, a few years ago, they have been debunked. There's actually a class action lawsuit all around that. And I was like, and have you noticed that a lot of the veterinarians that were talking about that are really quiet right now? Like, it went from being such a huge deal to absolutely nothing. And I was like, I think that, a dog would be better off having taurine and, all these things, in their diet rather than grain.
There's no
And that's
taurine in rice.
and it's like a lot of people feed, when they talk about rice, they either feed white rice, which all the nutrients have been stripped out and then thrown back in. And it's just like, the starchy thing, or it's brown rice where they're not really going to be able to get anything from it because of the shell and not to mention it's really hard on the stomach. So if you're feeding it for an upset stomach, it's not, you'd be better off feeding like maybe sweet potatoes. But nope, he said there are like over 20 studies that prove that rice. And I was just like, okay, no, bye. I didn't even read the whole comment because I was just like, this is not someone who is interested in having a conversation with me because that makes no sense. And I'd rather just not take a chance and feed my dog rice. And I was like, okay.
You do you, boo boo.
He's like, yes, that's fine. Yay.
So tell me about this Chat GPT for recipes.
Yes. Okay. So I was doing my recipes because that was my plan for National Raw Feeding Week. And a friend of mine who is a nutritionist said, just use Chat GPT to come up with your recipes. That way it's basically you have a really good prompt. Like, give me a recipe that is, with beef as the main ingredient, as a main protein, that's formulated via, AFCO or FEDF or NRC, and don't use any synthetic ingredients in the recipe. And, and you can do things like keep the ingredients to this number of ingredients and, deliver it in amounts per ingredient rather than percentage. And so you give it instructions and they'll tell you. And so I did that and I was like, give me 7 recipes and use these 7 different proteins and in the recipes. And, because I was going to do 1 recipe a day for National Raw Feeding Week. And then basically you take that as the foundation and put it into your software. And then from there, you add different things to actually balance it out, because on its own, they're not delivering a balanced diet. And I'm not as familiar with NRC to be able to say, because even though I asked for NRC balanced recipes, I don't know if this is an NRC balanced recipe. But the recipes were kind of weird. And actually, I have a screen up that has the recipes. So I'll give you an idea. Okay, so
And you're using Animal Diet Formulator as your software, right?
yes, as my software. So here's an example of beef recipe. So beef, 1,000 grams of beef, which I think is just like
I know. I'm always like, well, how much is a gram?
1,000 grams, 2 pounds. It is 2.2 pounds. So not a lot. So 1,000 grams, 100 grams of beef liver, 50 grams of beef kidney, 100 grams of beef heart, beef neck bones, 200 grams, 50 grams of carrot, and it says for beta carotene and fiber, 50 grams of spinach for calcium, iron, and vitamins, pumpkin puree, 100 grams for fiber and digestive health, and 2 large eggs for protein and omega fatty acids. And then it gives you instructions on how to prepare it. And when you put that into Animal Diet Formulator, they were like, yeah, no. Because, like the calcium phosphorus ratio is completely off. I mean, it's just one of those things. And I still think it's a useful tool for people to have that have access to any type of software that can help them fix it. Because instead of you doing it from scratch, you at least have a starting point, then you can build from there. But the scary part are the people who will use ChatGPT to just come up with recipes thinking, well, I told it to do it. It's right. It has to, it's AI is going all around the internet, but it's just sort of like, yeah, do you know how much misinformation is on the internet that it's using all of this? It's not like it's determining what is accurate, what is not accurate.
And you're
And
not like uploading the book of NRC guidelines to it and saying,
yeah,
formulate off of this, right?
no.
Well, I can tell you that in the legal community, there have been several high profile incidents where attorneys have tried to, I guess, chat GPT a legal brief and submitted it and filed it with the court. And, a lot of times in legal briefs, you're citing past cases as your authority, saying, like, oh, well, in Smith versus Acme, this happened. And
Mhm.
so therefore you should do it here. And basically, ChatGPT had completely made up all of the legal citations. And because you're not just giving, like, Smith v. Acme, you have to provide more information about, like, how somebody else could find that case. And those were all just completely invented citations. And so, yeah, all these lawyers have been getting in trouble with their bar associations, with courts, with their ethics committees for trying to chat GPT legal briefs. So, yeah, definitely don't just rely solely on that for anything ever.
Oh, that's just scary. But yeah, it's one of those where, I mean, you can even look it up and say, how accurate is ChatGPT? And it says, it's fairly accurate, but, don't count on it. You should definitely, double check everything that it's telling you.
Yeah.
If you use ChatGPT, well, I've used an AI program that also like links somehow to the ChatGPT and then the actual ChatGPT. And one thing I found is ChatGPT is gorgeous. Like the information it delivers, it's gorgeous. Like sometimes it'll give you a graph, like a chart. It'll give you everything. I mean, if you tell it like write me an article about this, include this, compare these things, it it's beautiful. And it does it so wicked fast. It's insane. Where did she go? Oh, there she is. She was playing with a toy. All the other dogs are sleeping, and she's just walking around looking for something to chew on, I guess.
We're coming up on almost an hour and a half of Nessie and Antler.
Really? She antlers are amazing.
Yeah, she's putting in work over here.
She's so focused. That's like a commercial for a chew.
Tim would be like, oh, she's trying to fashion it into a shiv.
You know? It's funny because Muffet, she has a crate because she has to sleep in a crate. We want her crate trained. And she is really good in a crate. I mean, I'm not her first foster. My friend Beth was her first foster, and Beth dropped her off yesterday because she has other dogs coming in. And so she went into her crate. She cried a little bit because she wanted to be with me. But then she settled down and just went to sleep. But this morning when I got up and I'm doing stuff around the house, I took her out for a potty and brought her back in. And I went and looked at her crate and she had taken in one of my slippers, one of my boots, several toys, and and she's just laying in there like, yeah, and she's doing the same thing. She's on a bed right now. So she just went and got another toy. She has several toys on the bed and she's just enjoying herself. She's like entertaining herself. So,
That's awesome.
so for folks listening, I apologize for the squeaky noise, but she's really cute. She's really cute. Yes, I'm talking about you. So yeah, that's all.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing what else you're sharing for National Raw Feeding Week.
Okay, so I know I said that's all, but I must say, TV talk. I watched the show. What is it? I keep calling it the wrong thing, but the basketball show on
Yes,
Netflix.
Running Point, I think.
Yes, with Goldie Hawn's daughter, Kate
Yeah.
Hudson. It is like the most happiest. I wasn't in a bad mood. I just wasn't in a mood to watch anything serious or deep or anything. And I was just like, oh yeah, Erin told me about Running Point. I haven't finished it, but I finished most of it that day. It was so good. I had to like stop because it was like I have stuff to do. But it is so good. It was so enjoyable. It is so much fun.
Yeah.
I was just like, it is exactly, and what you said is easy. I was telling other people, it's just easy. It's easy. It was so easy and just I loved it. So thank you for making that recommendation.
It's so cute. And yes, we have reached the point in White Lotus because we were a little behind where Tim is like, "Oh my God, what are you making me watch?"
Yeah, because it goes in a direction that you did not see coming.
I mean, I guess there were hints, but
It's so good, so good. So yeah, okay. That's all.
All right, well, a happy raw feeding week to everyone.
Thanks for listening.